Ooh, and what do I do with this?
Sorry.
I'd like to call the meeting to order.
Are there comments on closed?
Are there any comments on closed session? Hearing none, we will adjourn to closed session.
And turn the key.
God. This is way too much for me.
Nah,
Item may raise their hand during public comment. The library board president will recognize you for the discussion at the appropriate time. Speakers will provide their name to the library board, after which the speaker will have 5 minutes to speak. Notice to the public. Any member of the public wishing to address the governing board on a topic within the subject matter justification of the district, but not on the agenda, may do so during the public comment period identified in the agenda. By law, subjects not on the agenda cannot be acted upon by the board except to briefly respond, clarify, or refer to staff for review and presentation at a future meeting. There are no guests or presentations, correspondence.
We have none.
There being no correspondence, we will now consider the consent agenda. Approval of the January 9th, 2020 minutes. Is there any public comment on the minutes? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the January 9th meeting.
I'll move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It has been moved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye as well. It has been moved and seconded to approve the January 9th, 2020 agenda minutes. Approval of library closure, March 18th through 21, 2020, for Phase 3 renovations. Do I hear a motion to approve the library closure on these dates?
I'll make a motion to approve closure from March 18th to 21st, 2020.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It has been, let's vote on the item.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. The motion carried, approved the library closure on those dates. Conference and action. There is no conference and action. Information items.
I do have information items. Just wanted to give you an update as to where we are in the progress of moving Dixon to act more like a county library, for lack of a better term. So we have promoted Catherine to the supervising librarian position. So she is now the supervisor on site of the Dixon Library, which of course left a vacancy behind. We are going to be interviewing for that librarian vacancy next week. We have a couple others within the county, but that's going to be one that we're hoping to fill. We had 2 library associate positions that were vacant. We asked for reassignment requests from our current staff, and 2 of our staff have wanted to be reassigned to Dixon. Kevin Lowe, and his start date was February 26th, and Miguel Leoza, and his start date is March 23rd. Miguel will be in charge of circulation. In addition, these are flexible positions where they could do like both information and circulation. We've put staff on a 30-day schedule, which is the way our other staff works. Includes 1 evening a week and bi-monthly Saturdays. Our staff work Monday through Friday or Tuesday through Saturday, so they can have 2 days off in a row. That's, the way we work. We've sent many of the staff to our other libraries for training so they could get a feel for some of the things. even though we are the same automation system, circulation, looks like the same database, the policies and procedures are somewhat different. So we are starting to rotate Dixon staff through some of the county libraries and some of the county library staff through Dixon, so that there's cross-training and that we can, if there's, issues where we need a staff member somewhere, we have the ability to send them because they have been trained. We've had one of our circulation supervisors do circulation training. We've had our payroll clerk do payroll training because it's a different system, even though the county did your payroll. We use something called IntelliTime, and there has to be training on that. We're gonna be training the staff on Beanstack, which is the summer reading program sign-up that we use, and there'll be another circulation training. So we've had 9 Solano County Library staff visit or fill in at Dixon to train and help cover shifts. We're still trying to navigate through IntelliTime, but I just looked at the report today because we get paid tomorrow, and it looks like things, I think, are finally caught up. It was a little dicey, like I said, starting in the middle of a pay period of ending one organization and another organization, so there's just been a shakeout period. So that's basically what we've done in terms of staffing. And then, of course, there's the whole IT part. So our IT staff came out and set up staff emails and access to something called Citrix, which is a way to get so that staff can do their own payroll, their own time card reporting. Dixon has been moved from a partner now to a branch of Solano County Library in our automation system. All book orders are now being sent to our tech services and processed centrally. So, everything's moving along that way. The Dixon website is now gonna list Solano County Library email address, and starting in May, so we can do the transition, there will be a message to visit Dixon on the Solano County Library webpage. And the Dixon webpage will slowly be transitioned with a close date of June 30th, because by then we hopefully will have all the back of house done so that we can have Dixon incorporated as a branch of the county library. And there'll be a slow transition from the Dixon Public Library Facebook page to the Solano County Library Facebook page, because social media is extremely important to get things out, but we don't want to lose anybody.
Will there still be someone from the Dixon Library who's posting activities and events that are happening at the Dixon Library on that Facebook page, or?
Well, to be part of the county Facebook page, it'll be Dixon events. We have something in our database called events, which are events for each branch, and the branch staff post their events for their branch to those pages. So you click on Dixon and you get a list of everything that will be happening at the library. Okay. But what it does for the public is, if you have some crossover, like if you have people in Vacaville going, oh, we're gonna be at Dixon, what's happening at the Dixon Library? They'll be able to see it on the website. So all the libraries are there. But there are separate pages for each of the branches.
Okay.
So Dixon is now appearing in marketing publications and listed in our PR for Solano County Libraries. The book club and the movie club have continued to meet. Story times have been going well. Summer reading program planning has begun, including lunch in the library. We applied for the grant. We included Dixon in that grant to make sure that that program continued, because we knew you had it last summer. Dixon received tickets for the Amy Tan event, which of course we've had to postpone, but
Yeah.
we were able to distribute the 30 tickets that we sent to Dixon. The annual budget requests have been created for the Friends of the Library. And as I just told you, Dixon Public Library has been added to events on the Solano County webpage, so that all the Dixon Public Library events are listed there.
I have a question about
Sure.
the Amy Tam event. I didn't sign up because I couldn't go on the date that it was going to be. And since it's not going to be on that date,
I suspect there will be some movement of tickets when we don't have any tickets left, But I assume there will be, well, there's two ways of doing this. One is, as soon as we get the date, there may be people who say, hey, I can't
Can't
go to
go
this
on that
date, and
date.
they'll return the tickets, so we'll have additional tickets. The other thing that we were doing, knowing that no matter what event and no matter what your planning is, there's always gonna be no-shows. So we've asked people to line up like at least 15 minutes before the performance, before she speaks, does her thing, and that if people aren't there 15 minutes before, all those seats, enjoy.
Great.
Can I ask you a question about story, like the children's? I know our children's librarian retired a little bit ago. Has there been a new one hired?
That's what we're hiring for.
Okay, so there's just been a substitute as of right now for
Yes.
story time and
Yeah,
stuff?
Jennifer has been doing it. here.
Okay.
Okay, Jennifer's been taking that over. We hope to hire a youth services librarian. Kevin, who I just told you, one of the library associates, he's also, has worked in children's.
And they will do, so I think one of our big things that we've struggled with before is we've done okay in the children's section, but not as well in the teen.
Well, that's what, we're
Providing
hiring
teen.
a youth services librarian who will cover both children's and young adult because of the fact that we have a library associate who can do both.
And then will they also be planning, because I know we have story time, but teen activities and events?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
We have a young adult committee that meets today. I think it's every other month, and all the young adult librarians get together. They talk about, planning for the system-wide plus what they're doing. So yes, so we do put an emphasis on teen services.
Good.
And what about Spanish language story time?
We have somewhat difficulty to do that, although some of your staff, some of the former Dixon staff, are applying to get bilingual pay, and then if they could do it and could do story time, we'll be happy to do that.
Great.
Okay. Miguel is bilingual,
Okay.
okay? One of the library associates who requested a reassignment. He is bilingual. He
Great.
does receive bilingual pay already, so. So generally, you just approve the shelving, new dates. That's because the dates slipped a little bit and we needed approval to close it. We're working on converting some of your existing contracts, like, and I know somebody asked about cleaning. You use UBS, which is the firm that we use, and put them under our contract and made what we want done a little different. We, had more things to be able to be done. And then, that's where we are, basically.
I think on that Saturday, the last closed date,
21st?
yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna have some sort of a gathering to see the library in its new form. And so that's gonna have to be agendized, because there's going to be more than two board members
Just
attending
don't talk
that.
to each other.
Well, yeah. Are we gonna have that open to the public, though, since, I mean,
You know what, I see it on this list, it says, Aida has invited staff and the board to come by on
Okay.
Saturday, 3/21 at 11 o'clock to view the completion. I don't think it needs to be agendized because you're not meeting.
I think it does.
I think if we're together, it might be
I'll check
considered a
with county
meeting.
council.
Yeah,
because
do
my-
that.
I'm only saying it from my experience with like our literacy celebration. I usually have 4 board members there from the Board of Supervisors. We do not agendize that.
So we've done some tours of the middle school that we're redoing, and just a tour, it's had to be agendized.
That may be a little difference, because when the board does tours for agricultural and stuff, yes, it does. But let me check, I will get
Yeah,
clarification.
just check.
I will get clarification from county council. If it needs to be agendized, it will be,
Okay,
okay?
very good.
Okay.
Thank
So-
you.
Okay, so that's my update on
Alright.
where we are after 2 months.
Are there any comments on the information report? Public comments? Seeing none, move on to discussion items. There are none. Move on to conference and first readings.
There are
There are
none.
none. Action items.
Okay, so in your packet, which I know you don't have, we have something called the Solano County Library Advisory Council. It is composed of, and I did include the bylaws, but it's composed of 1 member appointed each by the supervisorial districts and 1 member from each of the cities that we serve. Now that we have added Dixon, we would like to have a member from Dixon attend the advisory council meetings. They meet on the the odd months, and it's the third Monday of the odd months, 6:30 at the Fairfield Civic Center Library. Doesn't have to be a board member, but the way, and I'm just using what I know, the way the Vacaville Library Board appoints a member, you know, from either, well, they have a commission, so it's usually a commissioner, to attend those meetings. So you could think about how, if you want to appoint, but I think it would be beneficial, and then they could also come back and give you a report as to what they've heard countywide.
Well, since Catlin isn't here, you know, that's what happens when you're not here.
Well, do any of the libraries actually have an employee appointed that goes and then reports, or no?
No.
Okay.
No. I am staff to the advisory council. It's usually, you know, like I said, from the cities, it's a city appointee. The supervisors, it's not a staff, it's one of their constituents.
Okay.
But yeah, so it depends. So, and like I said, Vacaville, because it's a school district library district, they give it to the commission to appoint somebody to attend.
Someone from our board.
So you can either have somebody from the board, or you could have somebody from the public if you want, but staff member, no.
My only thing about the public is, you know, we've tried to get some public involved in some other things. Like, we wanted to create kind of I hate to use the word advisory committee, and so we put it out there, and we didn't get one application. So I think it's gonna have to be one of us.
I think we did eventually get one from a student, didn't
From
we?
a student,
Yeah,
because we
but
said
we
we
couldn't
wanted
get
a student
anyone.
rep, yeah. So,
Well-
Mary comes a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, well,
we can take it up for discussion, and since the next we canceled Monday's meeting, and I should have given a report under information items, so if we could go back, I would appreciate it.
Okay.
But you can discuss it. Next meeting won't be until May, the third Monday in May, which I don't know what the date is off the top of my head, but,
the second Thursday.
well, you're second Thursday, but the advisory council is the third Monday, so it's,
okay.
it would
So
be
it's right
after your board meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Just like there would have been one this coming Monday.
We won't meet again until May.
Yeah.
Right.
But
She's
you'll-
saying that our meeting will be before that advisory meeting
Oh,
in
okay,
May.
well, that
So-
would,
I could put this back on the agenda, because it needs to be an action item
Yes.
from you to appoint somebody.
okay.
And I think it would be helpful for our whole board to be available to
Sure.
see if someone wants to volunteer.
Okay.
Yeah, and that would give us an opportunity if any of us actually talk to anyone in the public who is interested.
Well, I'm wondering if could we put something out there on social media asking if there's a member of the public who's interested in it?
Sure.
Could the
And
staff do
post it
that?
at the library, maybe, and,
Sure, sure. I could
Would
ask-
Catherine
I could
do
ask
that maybe?
Catherine to do
Okay.
that.
That would be good, because if someone's,
Yeah,
wants
sure.
to be involved, we'll take any involvement that we can get.
and then if not, one of us can be appointed next meeting.
Okay.
Kid, since we went back to information, can I ask a quick question? It's
Sure.
on a side issue, but an informational item, and that is just wondering if there's been, what's the library doing due to the COVID-19 thing? Have we modified cleaning procedures? Do we have any kind of guidelines or training for the staff at the sites to?
So here's what the county has done. We are following what public health, what the state, and of course Solano County being on the map, having the first community contact case. So in terms of what the county has done, the county has provided every single employee hand sanitizer and wipes. So that if you're at a public service desk, and I'm talking employee-wise, you can wipe down the desk, you have hand sanitizer. If you don't want to touch somebody's pen, you have the opportunity to wipe it down. We also have that available for the public. There will be, and just assume Dixon is included in all of this when I'm talking about it, because they are.
Okay.
You are. The county has ordered hand sanitizer stations to be put in the entranceways of every single library that we have. I just got an email from the Director of General Services, said they're on back order. What,
I
surprise.
bet.
Yeah.
But at least for the public, we still have little bottles of hand sanitizer, so that's going on. In terms of the cleaning, we have a contract with UBS to clean. We have spoken with them.
They're aware of the recommendations to
Yes.
use certain products on
Yes.
high-touch areas and all that. Okay.
And that's one of the reasons why the county, for employees, have Clorox wipes, and not only for the public desk, but for their desks also.
Has there been any discussion of, as this progresses, if someone appears ill, how the staff should address it with them, politely ask them to leave, or what they should do?
We've just put out, okay, so that's where we were. As of today, we just put out a memo to our staff and to the public saying we are canceling all of our programming, all of our bookings of meeting rooms for the libraries that have meeting rooms, until the end of March. So we are not gonna have groups of people, and then we're putting up signage in all of our buildings, especially the buildings that have small study rooms. We're saying,
Yeah, like
hey,
Vallejo.
this is, Vallejo, Vacaville, Sassoon, Fairfield, Cordelia, they all have little study areas, and we're putting up signage to say, these are the recommendations. We do not recommend that you have more than one person in the study room. We have hand sanitizer and wipes if you're interested. Okay? And then we will have signage on all of the doors that go through the recommendations of what, the Public Health Department and the CDC has said, wash your hands. If you don't have, hand sanitizer, if you're going to sneeze, do it into your clothes, throw away your tissues and things like that. So yes, but we can't really ban someone because you don't know, especially this area, is it allergies?
Mm-hmm, sure.
I mean, can't do that, but we have signage, we have, and if staff is concerned, or we've also told staff, if you do not feel well and you're not sure, please stay home,
Yeah.
But
But if someone does appear ill, I mean, yeah, I understand. We can't prevent them from being in a publicly accessible.
Exactly.
But we could have a polite conversation about,
Right, and we can
other
show them what
people
we
are
said.
looking at you and looking afraid. It's up to you. I can't force you to leave, but would you mind?
Yeah, we have directions for, for staff. We've laid out some language for them to talk to folks.
Okay.
Okay, so that's where we are, and all this, like I said, canceling all of our programs and story times and things like that, that was a decision as of today, and the county is doing the same thing. If you look and see what some of the county events were, they're all being postponed.
Yeah.
County was supposed to have a big job fair, for instance, a week from Saturday. They're postponing that. I mean, we're just trying to be cognizant of not having large groups.
And I know things are moving and changing quickly, and county and state recommendations are coming down all the time. So, assuming something significant occurs with a change in process, will we get an email letting us know?
We can make sure that you're informed as to what's happening within the
Great.
county. And we're just, we're county department, we're following what the county is telling us to
Sure.
do. And we're also trying to be proactive in terms of the way we provide service to the community.
Super. Thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
For a long time, or at least recently, the library here in Dixon has not been open on Sunday.
Right.
And I understand that some libraries are open on Sunday. 5
of the now 9 branches are open on Sundays.
Okay. So it's possible that we will
Yeah,
remain closed.
Yeah, and this was, of course, in my information items that I just skipped over. One of the things that I need to shake out, you started with a contract with the county in the middle of a fiscal year. It has really been difficult for me to figure out the expenditures and how those expenditures, because I've got to integrate them into the county budget, county library budget. So I just need some time to figure out, where, show me the money, so to speak. How much is coming in, what you're expending, what you need to expend, how much of this will be part of what we provide, So the answer to that question is yes, but I'd like to make sure you have enough revenue to be able to do that again.
Yeah, and we were actually open on Sundays until just last year.
Right,
And,
right.
But we did our own like survey and found that we were having very few patrons come in on Sundays.
What I'm
So,
hoping is that we can increase the usage of the Dixon Library.
yeah, and if we,
But we're not there yet.
yeah, I mean, if we can increase Sunday traffic to make that a worthwhile thing, I mean, the costs we were spending to have it open with very few people coming in was just not.
We had more staff almost than people that came.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I get that.
Yeah.
You know, I do. So like, that's one of the things that I was just gonna, for information is, at your next meeting, I will be presenting you the fiscal 2021 budget.
Oh.
Okay, so you'll see yourselves as a division within the county library, but then there'll be a Dixon budget also. That shows your revenues and things like that. And it's really the only thing you see is a charge for service, but I'll explain all of that. You've sort of seen that when I did the presentation before you, but then, this will be real figures now. We are still working, we are working on our facility master plan. Hopefully in May, or a little later, our consultants will be out talking with you guys, with Dixon, or we as staff will be doing that. We're still working out the community meetings. There's not gonna be a community meeting in each of the cities. We're figuring out how we can combine them. We may combine Dixon with Vacaville, which makes sense, you know, just like Rio Vista and Sassoon,
Right.
you know.
Well, and here's something interesting, and I'm hoping that you guys know. So we have, you know, you think of a master plan of the library, you think of the buildings and everything. So we do have, you know, that building, but we also have all the land behind the library as well.
Yes, and
Okay.
you have a tree that's interesting.
In a building that wants to fall down. Probably.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, we are aware.
Yeah.
I just wanted, I mean, I know that, you know, I don't know, maybe a year ago, you know, when we started looking, okay, we want to do something with the library. We kind of ended up with these grandiose plans, and we're like, okay, well, we're not
stages.
quite ready for that. We just wanted to remodel the current library that we can use safely, and that's kind of how we got to where we are now. There was a master plan, I mean, there was plans, hopefully architectural plans and stuff that were created.
They're
but-
around,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
But,
okay.
you know, as the longer you wait, the more the costs go up.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Right.
we will come back with a recommendation,
Looking at our budget and our money that we have set aside for
Yes.
that stuff.
yes,
Okay,
for
Great.
sure.
okay.
And, you know, just, the building needs lots of repairs, frankly. I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
So you have to look at, you know, are you gonna repair the building, safety, and things like that, you know, the ADA issues. I mean, it's an old Carnegie for part of it. I don't have to tell you that, but there just needs to be some things that happen with the building. The Dixon May Fair, I know that you usually close on the Dixon May Fair day. We spoke to staff, and what we'd like to do is close between 11 and 1, which is the parade route, but then open the library from 1 to 6 that day. Reason why I'm talking to you now is I don't need your authority because we would be open, because you're only open. I just wanted to tell you because this would be before your next board meeting.
I think
Right.
that's
And then
good.
the other thing, I will be coming back to you to ask you to close to the public for the Grillin' and Chillin' on July 18th.
Okay.
Because we looked at the event, we looked at the parking, we figured this, but what we'd like to do is have staff in there or right outside, depending on the heat, to do outreach to the community, because you have all these folks there.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opportunity. Now, I also realize a lot of them are from out of town, but it's still a perfect opportunity to make the library part of a major event for the city.
Well, and I think also down at that area by the library for the Grillin' and Chillin's, the kids area.
Yeah, and we would do
So,
story time and
probably.
things like that, you know, it's
I think
just,
That's great.
just a matter
That's
of
awesome.
doing outreach in a way that, you know, don't think we could have the library open because nobody would be able to come and park or anything
Yeah.
like
Right.
that. But you have a captive audience.
Yeah,
What
that's
can we
really
do
great.
with them?
That's great. Thank
So
you for
just-
thinking of
just-
that.
Yeah, but like I said, I will at the May meeting come and ask you permission to close the library, but we still have staff there. And if it is 110 degrees, we'll bring them inside and
Yeah.
air conditioning, I promise.
So not to hopefully not curse us or anything, But if the county comes with a recommendation, because Mayfair is a lot of people, and although it's outside, I don't know if the city's had any discussion or consideration about, with the illness going around, what's gonna happen with that. Would that change things, in terms of how,
We would still keep library, at this point, our plan is stop programming, libraries are open,
okay, so,
okay? So if the Dixon Mayfair says, hey, depending on what we're doing, what's happening in May, if the Dixon Mayfair says we're not doing the Dixon Mayfair, we would still have the library open that day.
normal
because it would
hours.
be a normal hour
yeah,
business day.
okay,
Okay, we may not have any programming, but at this point, we're doing 1 month at a time. We're just
Yeah.
seeing where we are at the end of March, frankly, because there's just too many unknowns right now.
yeah,
Right, right. And
Great.
hopefully the heat will kill off the,
Yeah, I mean,
Iris.
one of the things that we did when I talked to you about the Solano County Library Advisory Council, just to let you know, because they meet in a meeting room, we have canceled that meeting. Another meeting in May will be okay, but it's just, what we're doing and who we're bringing
Right.
together and how many people
Right
are
now.
there.
okay.
is there any public comment on the information report? Seeing none, we will move on to adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Can we vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. The meeting is adjourned.